The Maybvlogs murder case, trial day 44.
From Leicester Crown Court. Some viewers may find scenes that are distressing. Viewer discretion is advised. True crime and breaking news. The best 1 minute and under news channel on TikTok.
Two more barristers for defendants in the trial of TikTok influencer Maybvlogs and others have argued that there is no evidence their clients had any criminal intent on the night of the fatal crash on the A46. Yesterday, the barristers for Amir Jamal and Sanif Gula Mustafa both argued their clients had no knowledge of what was happening that night in the time leading up to the crash. The jury at Leicester Crown Court has heard that in the hours before the crash on Friday, February 11th last year, Amir and Sanif had both been out with their co-defendant Raiz Jamal, but had no idea about the background involving crash victim Saqib Hussain, who had been blackmailing Mahek's mother, Ansreen Bukhari, who was his ex-lover. Neither Amir nor Sanif had ever met Mahek or Ansreen, and had no reason to wish to harm Saqib, both of the barristers have said in their closing arguments. The two defendants were both out at Tubo Shisha Lounge in Belgrave Circle, Leicester, ahead of the chase up the A46, when the prosecution argues the crash victim's Skoda was rammed off the road. Balrai Basha, KC, for Sanif, urged the jury to think about why his client was in the Seat Leon when it was involved in the chase that night. He said his client had got in touch with Raiz because he wanted to go out so that he could see his girlfriend at Tubo, and it was not true that Sanif had been recruited by Raiz or anyone else to help ambush Saqib to end the blackmailing. Mr. Basha said, "The whole case against Sanif Gula Mustafa is circumstantial. It wasn't a question of recruitment at all. It's an important point," he said. Sanif went out that night with a Monopoly board. He said, armed with a Monopoly board. That's all he takes. And they were at Tubo for 3 or 4 hours. Rajiv Menon, KC, for Amir, echoed what the jury had been told by other defense barristers, that there was not enough proof that any of the defendants wanted to kill Saqib or his friend Hashim Ijzuddin, who was also in the car that night. He said, "This is not a murder case. To be blunt about it, the Crown is going to struggle to prove the victims were rammed off the road." He said no one in Amir's position could have contemplated that the fatal collision would have happened. He said, "How could you possibly conclude Amir Jamal wanted someone to be killed or seriously harmed that evening on this evidence?" Mr. Menon also warned the jury about the danger of finding people guilty by association. He said, "It's very easy to lump everybody together by saying that everybody in the defendants' two cars, when the Skoda crashed, is guilty of murder. Please keep your feet on the ground and do not allow the emotional tragedy of the events to sweep you away." He added, "This was a terrible accident and not cold-blooded murder or manslaughter." Last week, Mr. Rainsford, the barrister for Rican, also said this is not a murder case. There was no deliberate ramming. There was clipping, but was there clipping because the car driven by Hashim made contact with the Seat? The crash happened at 1:32 a.m. on Friday, February 11th last year, because Saqib had been on a 999 phone call to Leicester police telling them he was being pursued and that the cars were ramming him. A murder investigation got underway immediately. Mr. Rainsford described the very impressive results of the police investigation, but said the deliberate murder narrative continued into the trial despite the lack of evidence. He said that the murder narrative was an idea that came from the 999 call, but that it was now clear that some of what Saqib said in the 999 call was untrue. He said, "It's only because the evidence has now been tested that that narrative is in question. He certainly didn't cause or encourage the Skoda to be forced off the road. There was no plan to harm. You've got idiotic behavior by young people driving too fast. It was an accident, and that's all it was." The appropriate verdict as far as Rican Karwan is concerned is not guilty to all counts. With Natasha Akhtar's barrister now addressing the jury, there is not long to go. There is only Mohammed Patel's barrister remaining to address the jury. We should get a verdict or verdicts by next week, hopefully.
The case will continue tomorrow, and as always, we hope you can join us. The full transcript from court is next. Please read. Thank you. The court has been adjourned for today. We will be back tomorrow. Please join us then.
Thanks for watching our channel. Please share.
Live reporting.